I'm going to take this outside, maybe inside, and I'm going to use a chainsaw to kind of cut around this here, the outside, maybe not in here to this middle ring, but closer to this. Cut this excess off. Walnut's pretty hard wood, so let's see if I flip this over. And I can also cut this off at an angle. If this is going to be the bottom, I can cut this off a little bit and then work on getting this off too. wanted to mill this entire bowl using carbide bits to really get a feel for the difference, but as you can see there, it just seemed to be too aggressive, even though I was just using one side of that square bit. I don't know if I didn't have it at the right position or what. I mean, you know, this is all a learning curve and a learning experience, but I kept trying, and it kept automatically shutting the lathe off, which is a great safety feature. The Robust comes with this feature, and it's a bit tricky to get it to go back on. I turned the locking mechanism on and off, and then eventually it allows me to turn the lathe back on again. So I went through this a few times, but you'll see that I had some struggles with the carbide bit here, and I ended up switching back to the traditional bowl gouges, and it stopped a couple times with that, but not nearly as frequently as with the carbide bits. As you can see, I am wearing a glove, but I got sick and tired of getting whacked in the hand, so I decided to, in addition to wearing the glove, I decided to take the bark off, and I just whacked on it with the claw part of the hammer, and instead of locking it down and going through the chisel and all that stuff, this was quite effective. So I actually, because it's a little wet, got underneath the bark and pulled it away. So I needed to get that done before I continued with getting whacked and chipped. Even though I am wearing the Trend mask, totally protects my whole head, and also it's a respirator, so that's a great tool to have in your workshop if you don't have one. I tried my hardest to go real easy and real careful, just taking off tiny bits, but it still caught and stopped the machine. Again, that's a great feature, it's a safety feature, but still, it was kind of annoying. So I got the outside done well, and I decided to move on. I'm going to do a mortise here, not a tenon, a mortise, and that'll be the final on this piece. And I'm digging that out to fit in the chuck. So the chuck I had in there, the jaws weren't big enough, so I moved to the bigger jaws that I could expand outward. But as you'll see in a second, I just couldn't do that either, so I had to put it back on the lathe and change the size of the mortise that I previously made. So after I made a bigger hole over here, I flipped it and put the big chucks on, big jaw chucks on, and it wasn't perfectly square. It was pretty, balanced. It was pretty close, but I milled it again, and it needs a lot of sanding, which I'm going to let this dry because this is, it fell maybe 3 months ago. So, but it's going to be beautiful. And if I let it dry, I think it will, well, either crack or not. And then maybe I can fix it and then mill it again. I don't know. We're going to see. But I'm going to leave this. I think this will be kind of cool. So when I do the inside, I'll be avoiding that. I don't want to make a hole there. Although a hole might not be a bad idea either. So it is... I'm having some tear out, so I have to be careful with that. I have sharpened my tools pretty rigorously. I did some sanding on this, and I got rid of some of the tear out on here. There's still a little there, and I think I saw some. This is a little rough. I think Sandy can take care of that. Okay, so I bought this. It was pretty inexpensive. It's a Bauer. I bought it at Harbor Freight. And it's an angled drill, and this pad fell off, so I'm going to have to replace that somehow. I don't know if gluing it will do it. I'll try that. Anyway, I've got a lot of sawdust or chips or whatever you call this. Now, what do I do with this? This is like all sawdust and chips. Can I throw it in a compost? Can I make... What can I do with it? What do you guys do with it? Just throw it out? I'm standing on probably 2 inches down there. Can I use it for a fire starter? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. So after about a month, I noticed a huge crack going from the top and all the way down the face. And also down the back. Huge crack, probably 1/8, 3/16 of an inch wide. Interestingly enough, these knots didn't crack, but the pith here, this split too. So turning this around, you can see a crack there, and that goes all the way to the other side. I think this is the other side of that big crack, but it also split here between the lid and the base right here, and that's a significant crack. And also here, I don't know if this is going to be rescuable. Maybe epoxy in there, I don't know. This bowl that I made out of apple, now this wood was sitting around for a while, but this did not split, crack, or change shape. It's still circular. And this was from Walnut. That held up, this piece, and it kind of looks to me like this one's more oblong, longer here to here. I don't know. Yeah, I think it is. But I gotta put it on the lathe again and get rid of this. But I think I should just wait. There's no severe cracks in it like the other one. And now I'm thinking that I probably should have milled out the center on that other piece. So I'm wondering if I milled out the center on this piece, if it would have held up better. But that's a good learning experience. So I bought this Max filler. I think it's baking soda. I think that's what you can use. And I put it on my bowl here, and I'm just adding some black CA glue, mixing it in, and oops, gonna mix it in here. And it hardens very quickly. But I'm also gonna spray it with an accelerant. So I did it on this crack back there, and a couple of splits. And also here. It's hardened right now, so I'm gonna flip it around and try it, put it in that one. I'm gonna lock down the lathe too. So I let this thing sit for probably 2 weeks, a month maybe, I don't know. And it's very dry. It was CA sprayed, so it was dry pretty quickly, but I wanted to make sure that it was dry inside because the spray only hit the outside. But the next part of this video I will be doing soon. And please stay tuned, please subscribe, it helps me immensely. And I'll show you how I take the inside out, mill this all down, take the inside out. I'm not sure how much I'll leave on it, but I gotta take this out because I think that was the real problem with why it cracked. Anybody knows, let me know. Thanks for watching.